Hey, today I'm talking about 3 films all directed by this guy from the 80s. And the names of those 3 films are The Delta Force, The Apple, and Over the Brooklyn Bridge. First is The Delta Force. This is a 1986 Chuck Norris Lee Marvin film, loosely inspired by 2 true-life events, but turned into ridiculous 80s cheesy action film with lots of great America propaganda mixed in as well. And this film's interesting because it's actually really good if you ignore all of the cheesy 80s action pro-America propaganda stuff. Though, even that stuff is kind of fun, but it's a completely different movie from the rest of it. Okay, so the basic premise is this group of Lebanese extremists hijack an American plane in Greece with the plan of using this to leverage some New World Order type of stuff. So with that, half of the movie is like this really intense thriller with these really complex characters, and they have nuanced interactions with the hostage victims. For a second, I had paused and was like, okay, are they portraying Lebanese racistly? But no, they're honestly not. Yeah, we're mostly dealing with a couple of terrorists, but they give the terrorists depth, and the characters themselves recognize the human nature of the people that they're using, and yeah, they need to be dicks to these people, but they also feel bad and realize that they're traumatizing them and trying to help certain individuals, namely a pregnant woman and the children and some other people. And yeah, they're anti-Semitic, but they're not completely anti-Semitic, which really threw me for a loop, but was really interesting at the same time. So you have that happening, and it's great. It's this really good, well-told story. But then in the background, you have this group of Americans, the Delta Force, stationed in North Carolina, and they, for some reason, are the ones that are called to fly halfway across the world to deal with this terrorist organization. And they honestly did a good job of not really getting into the silly action stuff until the end of the movie. So they had me, they got me. I was having a good time with this movie, but then they had to end with the most ridiculous, over-the-top action. And if you turn your brain off, it is fun. I both love and hate Chuck Norris's motorcycle in this. Here is a clip of it. I edited it down a little bit so you can see all the best parts. So of course he single-handedly takes down the main bad guys. So, okay, yeah. I mean, this movie is ridiculous and absurd, but it's good. It's really good. He could have made an incredible film had he just not done the silly, ridiculous stuff, but that's what he really wanted to do. So yeah, so I really like this movie. I would recommend it. It is really good. It's worth a watch. It honestly is. You just have to turn your brain off when it gets to the really stupid part. And it'll be obvious when that happens, but yeah, it's a good movie. Next up is The Apple. This is a 1980 sci-fi disco musical recommended to me by this commenter. So thanks, buddy. This was a delightful film, and I'm glad I watched it. The basic premise is, in the future, there is this one music company that basically runs the entire world unofficially, and we follow these 2 hippies that just want to sing love songs, but that's too old-fashioned fashion, we have to do cool disco stuff instead. One of them gets signed, the other one doesn't, and then spends the rest of the movie trying to get her out of the contract. Now, this movie's incredible. It's prime pickings for a remake. I super duper want someone to remake this movie. The music, though not necessarily my taste, gets better as it goes on. And I know people have made fun of this movie for its dancing, but I loved the dance numbers. They gripped me. Like, I got bored whenever there wasn't music happening, and then as soon as a dance number started, I was like, all right, I'm back into this. Let's go. This movie's great too because like God actually exists, and there's so many like weird biblical things that are happening and going on. Essentially, this movie's a fight between God and the devil, and maybe our main characters are representations of Adam and Eve, or maybe other things. It's not super clear, but it is ridiculous and crazy and a lot of fun. The best part of the movie is without a doubt this. But would I recommend this movie? Totally. It's something to be experienced. I would say though, don't watch it alone. Gather some friends together and have a fun time with it. It's definitely okay if you talk over the movie because you're not missing anything. It'd potentially be better if you were drinking as well because it's an absurd movie. But it's got a lot of potential in there. And as it stands, it's something else. So yeah, it was a good movie that I would recommend. And lastly is Over the Brooklyn Bridge. This is a 1984 film starring Elliot Gould, and the basic premise is Elliot Gould plays a 36-year-old unmarried Jewish restaurant owner who wants to expand his business, but he needs just a little bit more money from his rich uncle, but his rich uncle won't give it to him because he's dating a Gentile. And so he's like, okay, if you break up with your girlfriend and start dating your fourth cousin, I will give you $60,000 so that you can buy this restaurant. And so the movie is just him internally and externally debating about whether or not he should break up with the love of his life in order to fulfill his wildest dreams, or not break up with his beautiful girlfriend and not follow his dreams. And it's so boring. I just really didn't give a shit about him. Like, I like Elliot Gould in general. He's great in the Ocean movies. I've seen him in other stuff I like. But like here, it's just so nothing. Like, I don't care about his struggles. I don't care what he decides. I just want him to do something interesting, and he doesn't. He just exists. And it's just really boring. And I just could not care less about what was happening. So yeah, the premise is silly, but that's not the issue with this movie. It's just that it's just a nothing sandwich. So yes, I didn't care for this movie and I don't recommend it. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got the Delta Force sitting at number 75 in the really like section. And then after that, exactly 100 spots down, is The Apple sitting at number 175 in the like section. About the middle of the like section. And then breaking up the rear rightfully so is Over the Brooklyn Bridge sitting at number 226 in the didn't like section. And this is out of a total of 237 old movies so far this year.
America, the home of the brave, is popping pills to keep up the pace, and every day she cries out for more speed. I can feel the earth start quaking when America starts shaking, pumping power by the hour. Of the icing, to get your fix you'll do anything. There's just one thing that's worth fighting for. It's speed. From New York out to LA, everybody does it her way, pumping power by the hour. Speed. America, your reds, whites, and blues are in our blood. We're strung out on you. There's just one thing we're all dying for.